Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a short trade here, if I can get a fill on gold, looking for a short at 1126.5. And essentially we're going to be looking at this as a flag breakout. So we want the stop to be above the high there. Not very big by any means, nice small little stop there. One more tick, there we go. To the downside for the targets that we're looking for initially a micro move down, and that micro move down should put us right around this area of support around 24.7. So we're going to be taking a couple contracts off there, take 3 off there, but then we're looking for a big move down from the highs. Now you can measure this a couple different ways. I'm going to pick this one because that's about where the falls began. And we're looking for an overall large move down to around this 21.3 area is kind of where we're seeing the support there. Now, because this is an extended target, we don't want to leave it smack on 21.3. So we're going to go ahead of that at 21.6 and take the final 2 off there. So overall, the way that we're setting up here is nice and down biased, that's for sure. If we zoom out a little bit, we have a beautiful bearish move working the entire way down, and it was kind of kicked off right early in the morning here, big selling pressure coming in, and we broke underneath that, and now we're finally letting loose and breaking down again into the flag that we're seeing at the moment. So I'm looking to go short 26.5 from our first target to our entry here. We're looking at 18 ticks, taking 3 off there and then taking the rest off down at that final move lower, and that'll be 49 ticks on that push. So we've got 18, 3 off at 18, and then 2 more off at 49. It's 152 ticks possible to the downside on the overall flag pattern setup that we're getting. So beautiful move down. Everything is looking nice and strong. Let me hide those. There we go. Now we just need to see it continue to the downside. So the micro target first, we're looking at 24.7, final one down at 21.6. So far, so good. Now we just need to see the market drop a little bit for us here and get a break of the low at 26, and we should be clear for takeoff to the downside here. So give it a little bit of time, see if we can break down to 24.7. All right, so we're pushing down. We're coming into a double bottom, and we just caught a very large spike through the lows there. That's a really good sign. That's showing, wow, it's showing a huge breakdown from the buyers just completely falling apart, and we get our target filled all on that push lower. Beautiful ride down. Once it broke that low, it just kind of let loose. It was a little bit of a cannon on the downside there. Now, because of the way that broke down all really on one candle, I don't want to put my stop right to break even because that's going to be risking a little bit too much on that breakdown. So instead, we're going to go above this candle's high here. Because of that breakdown, I really don't want to see that high broken. So 26.9 is going to be the stop. It is a little bit of a negative stop. It's a 4-tick negative stop with 2 contracts. We're only risking 8. That's only 8 out of 10 on just 1 contract. So we've got more than enough profit locked in to assume a little bit of a negative float here on the stop. And that just gives it a little bit of buffer room, just in case it wants to come back a little bit after that fall down. Most likely going to be some stop runs, and usually where there's stop runs are going to bounce around for a little while before looking to continue. So I want to avoid getting kind of trapped out on that movement, but still allowing myself the room to stay in the trade and ride it the rest of the way down. So 21.6 is the final objective to the downside here, and we'll see if we can get that break a little bit farther down and lock in that final target. All right, so we're coming into an intermediary little area of support here. It's the measured swing measuring from this point down, and we're actually seeing a little bit of support coming in. So I want to avoid a situation where I'm not going to argue over 3 or 4 ticks. It's not a huge deal. I'm going to look to take my final target at 22.3. Just a slight adjustment, seeing that the buyers are holding off of that level. They may slide through it and eventually get our target down at 21.3 where we were before, but it just doesn't make sense to really argue over that little amount. So we'll see if we can get filled here at 22.3. Yeah, there we go. And then we can close our stop. So a slight adjustment overall on the final target, mainly because we were seeing a relatively decent bounce off of this smaller measured move right here. And that makes me a little bit concerned, especially with such an aggressive breakdown and another aggressive breakdown. If there's going to be an entry for another setup, we're going to see one anyway. So there's no sense in trying to hold and give back all all of the profit because I'm greedy over 6 ticks. It just doesn't make any sense. So overall, with that slight adjustment, we took 2 off at 42 and then 3 off at 18, so it's 138 ticks, just slightly different. But overall, the way that it was setting up just makes a little bit more sense. So a beautiful flag pattern, a beautiful breakdown, and if you missed that one, they actually had a nice little pennant that formed here and broke down, but it was a pretty aggressive candle, not really any good way to get in there unless you tried limiting back a little bit. It would have come back for you too, but overall, great move down. Can't ask for much more than that, especially on gold. So that gave us 138 ticks this morning, 1,380 on the trade. If you have any questions about it, feel free to shoot an email to School of Trade. Don't have to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com, and as always, we'll catch you next time.